Thank you so much for being here, Soul Family. Welcome back to Goddess Vision. You are now tuned in. You are now tuned in. This is New Earth News. And let's begin. It has come to my attention we are in New Earth. It's already here. The revolution has turned to evolution. We have ascended. We are awake. Just as we've always been. It only seems truer or more unveiled now. But even that, even when we sit with that truth, we know it to be not the whole truth. Because just as we feel that it's becoming more and more unveiled, in that unveiling process is an understanding that there's never been a veil. There's never been a veil. The idea, the thought, the concept, the understanding, the perception, the perspective that there could even ever be a veil is what allowed the veil to exist in the first place. And this is something that we've always known, but it seems as if we've taken some sort of journey to remembering this process. A journey that turned into a process of remembering this. And we are now at a point in which we're at a point in the journey that we know that there never was a journey. There isn't a journey. This has always been. Never been a debate. There's never been any resistance or opposition. All that's needed is to get out of your way. Because anything that you can even conceive to be resistance or opposition, conflict, contrast, duality, polarity. All those things in and of themselves, the idea that they could exist as something apart from everything else, that you could be distracted or influenced in a way that takes you where you're not supposed to be, or makes you who you're not supposed to be. In and of itself, it's the idea that that is possible that is even creating a perceived experience of experience of the fact that even you can count experience as something separate from experience itself. And so again, because we have all arrived where we've already always been, and we know better, ask yourself what the point of indulging in polarity is. What is the point of continuing a process that you already understand the vibrational frequency of the end result of? When you know processes are only necessary, experiences are only necessary until we realize that we don't need them anymore, or we learn from them. And because we have now learned that, we understand that, that means the idea of process, of experience in a linear fashion, that means we know that it is illusionary. And that means that we can skip to the end of whatever that process would bring, because not only do we understand the beginning and the end, but we understand the middle, the in-between. We understand what we want to happen and what's happening now. And we also understand the happening that happens in between those 2 points. So, why do we need to hold on to the in-between? And yes, we then learn these tools of presence. But even and non-duality, ascension, enlightenment, whatever you'd like to call it. But even those things begin to infatuate the idea of process. And it's not that there's anything right or wrong. Either way is right or wrong. It's not about that. The point is why are you repeating cycles just because, and not in the way of just because, not in a way of just because where you can rest, in a way of just because you think that it's going to produce something. And I'm not saying that it won't, but if you already know that it's not really it's not what you're calling the process that produces the result. It is just the happening of it. So then that means that you can release everything that any meaning that the process holds, and even the idea of the process, because that is literally the only thing that contains this veiled interpretation of delay or opposition or duality or any of it. If we know through the teachings of non-duality that there is no duality, why are we still dibbling and dabbling in duality? Like even pretending that could be a thing. And then it really doesn't matter however you've learned it, whether it's metaphysically, physically, scientifically, through religion, through therapy, psychology, neuroscience, just living life, whatever. It is the same thing. And this isn't about not being able to trust the process or sit and still. No, this is about understanding that is still part of the process of duality. Because through this, I got more and more comfortable sitting and coming back and just being, and till it literally was till I'm not sitting around waiting for me to sit around and be, to know that I'm sitting around and being. That beingness is in every single thing that we're doing. And this goes beyond being content with doing nothing. This is literally, it goes beyond being content with doing whatever you're doing in the moment and not trying to rush to the next thing and not thinking about the next thing, being in the present moment. It goes beyond it. In a sense of expanding and transcending all of that, all encompassing it. Because again, most of this non-duality content will have you still running back to it, even though it's not telling you to. And not saying running back to it, like all of it still implies that there is still some more unfolding here. Not to say that the unfolding ever stops. That is literally the energetic frequency of destiny. That is the whole point. But it's not about how you view that in any kind of way, or even how you don't view it. It's happening regardless. And so to continue in this, just sit and be, and that still implies that there's anything else that can be done. And so now you find yourself, whenever you think you want to do something, or think you're thinking you want to do something, or feeling like you want to do something, now you're telling yourself to stop and just be. Go sit down and